In the first century, we will realize that what was the interest of China with the neighboring countries, mostly trading, and it has not really changed now. But in the recent history, the good relationship between China and Cambodia dates back to the first visit of Prince Sihanouk, Norodom Sihanouk, then Prime Minister, who just abdicated after the 1955 Bandung Afro-Asiatic Conference in Indonesia, where he met for the first time Premier Soubert Son. Prince Sihanouk was the first head of government to request the recognition of the People's Republic of China by the United Nations. After the first visit and recognition of the People's Republic of China by Prince Sihanouk in 1956, China assisted Cambodia in many fields of development. Following the Chinese example, many other Eastern European countries also gave assistance to Cambodia, as well as the US and France. Nevertheless, in the context of the Cold War, the People's Republic of China practiced ambiguous policy. One at the level of government and state, which was excellent with Cambodia, but not on the level of on the cultural level or party-to-party level, where China was supporting the communist elements of Cambodia, namely the Khmer Rouge. From 1968, a new phase of aggressive policy, coupled with the new development of the Cold War and the Chinese Cultural Revolution, was since 1966 to 1976. China increased her assistance to the Khmer Rouge for urban guerrilla, involving some personnel of the Chinese embassy in the fabrication of hand grenades and other lethal material. At the same time, the North Vietnamese openly occupied Cambodian territories in the north and the border provinces Ratanakiri and Mondulkiri. It was again thanks to Zhou Enlai that the relationship were not severed. Cambodia of Prince Sihanouk, Chief of State since 1960, did not have other choice to counterbalance this communist policy than to resume relationship with the USA. It was unfortunate that the American encouraged under General Long Nol government in the 1970 coup d'etat, which overthrew Prince Sihanouk and brought to power the Khmer Rouge and its genocidal regime supported by China in April 1975. At the outcome of the 1973 Paris Conference on Vietnam, it was obvious that the US ended their military intervention in that country, but who is going to fill the vacuum left by the USA? By the same year, Secretary of State Henry Kissinger secretly visited China and renewed relationship, despite the attempt of the Cambodian parties to solve their problem with a solution of reconciliation advocated by Mr. Son Sann since 1961. This solution could not be achieved because the agenda of the big powers' interests did not coincide with ours. The vacuum left by the US could not be filled by any other country except China, now allied with the USA against the Soviet Union and its bloc. This U-turn of the Cold War, pitching China allied with the US against the Soviet Union, allied with India and Vietnam, ended up with a confrontation between Vietnam and the Khmer Rouge Democratic Cambodia, allied with China, resulting with the invasion and occupation of Cambodia by Vietnam from 1979 to 1991, when the Paris Peace Agreement on Cambodia ended momentarily the Vietnamese occupation. It is thanks to China, once again, that Cambodia today recovered partially its independence. Large amount of financial and military assistance to the Cambodian resistance came from China, with the US aid transiting through China to the non-communist parties of the resistance. In the Cambodian point of view, the good relationship with China is not only historical but a must when China is surrounded by more powerful and expansionist neighbors. And in the strategic point of view of China, Cambodia was a reliable ally for a present in Southeast Asian region, as democratic Cambodia has lent itself to the Chinese strategic defense position in the region by allowing them to build a huge Kampong Chhnang airborne facilities to counter the presence of the Soviet Union at the Vietnamese seaport of Cam Ranh and left behind by the Americans. Prince Sihanouk and the royal family continue to enjoy special friendship with China. His Majesty the King Father, Sihanouk, and King Sihamoni, the present king, continue to have their royal residence in Beijing and medical cares. With the status of China becoming an economic and political superpower, the regional alliance may shift. China becomes a challenge to the US, Japan, and Russia in the Pacific. With the rise of another regional economic power, India, formerly close to the Soviet Union and today much closer to the US, to USA, it is interesting to see what could be the purpose of the new economic grouping composed of Brazil, Russia, India, China, BRIC, and South Africa, BRICS. The Chinese investment in Cambodia is the largest in various fields without string attached as in the past. It deals with the construction of road infrastructure, agriculture, and trade. On the military side, China plays the role of substitute when pressure comes from the US and other Western supplier countries on the Cambodian government, like during the faction fighting in 1997, when China supplied military equipment to the Cambodian People's Party of Prime Minister Hun Sen, fighting the Phun Sampek Royalist Party of Prime Minister Prince Norodom Ranariddh. She acts the same way as in Burma. Cambodia is of strategic importance for China. From there she can reach in all directions, and the seaport of Sihanoukville, like the Navy port of Ream, may be viewed as another Navy facilities among all the string of Navy facilities she planned to set up in the region, especially in Burma, to the along of India. As in the past, during the Cold War, China feared her encirclement by the USA through the American allies in the region and by the Soviet Union, which invaded Afghanistan with close tie with India and helped Vietnam to invade Cambodia, close ally to China. In conclusion, Cambodia and the Korean Peninsula are pawns of the strategic interests of big and regional powers. North Korea and South Korea can never have a reunification policy of their own, like during President Kim Dae-jung's tenure. If the two big powers, namely China and the USA, did not come to terms. Likewise, Cambodia failed to achieve its own solution of reconciliation from 1970 to 1975 because the US and Chinese interests were not ours. The Cambodia conflict from the 1979 to 1991 could not come to an end if the big powers did not broker the peace process resulting in the Paris Peace Agreement on the Cambodia conflict in 1991. In terms of her own security, Cambodia continued to consider the good relationship with China of utmost importance because China has shown to be a reliable ally. China may view Cambodia as a strategic importance in terms of geographic and historical situation, as well as military position to disengage herself from any attempt to encircle me. As long as China and the USA get along well, the stability of this Asia-Pacific region, of Southeast Asian regions and of Cambodia will continue.